Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. It is Sunday, August the 10th, 2025. I wanted to come here, guys, and speak about the major flooding that has been happening throughout the country and throughout the world, basically. There's a lot of um, natural events that are happening that when you look at them, you cannot help but think we are getting closer to the second coming of the Lord, right? Obviously, nobody knows, as just as the Bible says, that's why I say obviously, nobody knows when that day or time will be, but you cannot help it to stop and think and see what people are dealing with, right? And you can see like this is very unprecedented. Things are happening that we never seen before, right? The floodings are basically taking over. It's like every other day people losing their houses and the possessions and things like that. So I know a lot of the times when it's not affecting us personally, we tend to ignore things, right? But we should pay attention to the signs, right? Before I continue, of course, thank you so much to everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I really hope that the sound of my voice is better. I got a new microphone, so we're giving it a try right now. I'm very soft spoken, and I can, I don't really scream that much. I can't speak loudly. People ask me that all the time. I can barely hear you. And not on the videos, even in person, people can, they say I speak too softly. It's always been like that, right? I can, as much as I try, it's kind of hard. So when you are soft spoken and you do content, what you do, you buy a better microphone. The one I had, I don't know what happened to it, but we'll put it aside for now. Maybe it's gonna work at some point, but we're giving this one a try. And I know people in the podcast probably have better sound, right? So if you have uh, you find out that when you're watching the video the sound is a little off, go on the under the podcast tab on YouTube and you'll be probably be better hearing it, because the program that I use, I know this is a lot of TMI, but the program that I use for the podcast has a better sound quality, and I'm able to fix the sound better using that platform. So that's usually what happens. And also, one announcement, I do want to say that as we're getting closer to New York Fashion Week, I'm going to be very busy. I've been running around all over the place basically. So I'm not going to be making a lot of episodes often unless something like, you know, happens, maybe an update about a case that I've spoken about before. Who knows? Maybe I come and do a video, but I know I do record basically every day. But as I'm working on this collection, I'm going to, shift my focus on that right now, and that's why this month you're gonna see less episodes coming from me. But I still want to thank everybody who has been following the podcast on Spotify, and of course everybody who's also using Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Apple Podcasts and rate me there. So you guys, the major flooding, let me just read to you guys, because they're saying these are biblical signs, right? Over, listen to this. I know a lot of flight has been canceled too lately, and it's a nightmare. People are returning back. September is a transition month. I mean, August basically is, because people are getting ready. When it comes to August and September are so, I think everybody is always so busy. Because it's transition time. People are getting ready to start college, start school, and start a new job maybe. And there's so many things that happen the end of the summer. You're looking forward to see what's coming in the fall season, things like that. And then everybody gets busy, so people coming back from vacation, then they see their flights are being canceled. So it can be very hard to deal with situations like this. But one thing is for a flight to be canceled, but when you're returning home and your house is washed away because of the flooding, and you have to dealing with all of that, right? Now being in your comfortable space, it can be very hard, and it can lead people to depression too if it doesn't get fixed properly. Um, Losing your comfort and things like this, and your routine basically can lead people to, to to feel sad about it. Obviously, you losing basically, when people say I lost everything, things like that, right? So let me read to you guys. More than 900 flights were delayed. Nearly 40 million Americans remain on their Florida alert Sunday nights yesterday, right? It has been here in Connecticut. It has been beautiful all day. That's the thing that I always tell you guys. Just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that you shouldn't have compassion, even pray for people being affected by it, right? Today has been so beautiful. Super warm weather, right? I'm like, I can't get myself cool enough, and then when I do, then I'm like, it's too cool, too cold, and I start getting like headaches and sinus from the AC. And I have to shut it down immediately. So 40 million Americans remain under flood alert Sunday night as damaging storms continue through the Midwest. A total of 21 flights were canceled, in addition to more than 900 flights delayed at Denver International Airport on Sunday. It says here that Southwest Airlines has experienced 339 delays, and United Airlines was at 244 delays, while Skyway saw 157 delays. Forecasters now are warning residents from Kansas, Wisconsin that they might see repeated runs of heavy rain along with hail, okay, damaging winds and even isolated tornadoes overnight. But that warning comes from after 24 storms pounded the upper Midwest on Saturday, with winds all the way to 80 miles to 90 miles per hour reported in Ohio. That's crazy. Actually, it was reported in Omaha, Nebraska, excuse me, and up to a foot of rain reported in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Distressing videos shared online um, show high water levels in Wisconsin overtaking a bridge meant to span across the Menominee River. I do apologize if I mispronounced that incorrectly, which I'm sure I did. With debris from the area piling up on the road. So that's the thing, like looking at this, and this is what we're dealing with. I would never imagine looking at the beautiful weather we have here in Connecticut today. It's so sad that people are going through this. Water was also seen rushing past houses as fast-moving streams raced down residential streets, leaving at least one man stranded sitting on the hood of a car as water passed by. So I'm looking at the radar map right now. Wow, that's very heartbreaking to have winds all the way to 90 miles per hour. Residents near the river were also trapped inside their homes in the early hours of Sunday morning after severe flooding swamped the area. Other clips shows people desperately trying to flee the state fair with their hoods and umbrella up as they watered through 4 inch deep puddles. By Sunday, firefighters in Milwaukee say they have responded to more than 600 calls for gas leak, flooded basement, electrical outages, and water rescue. And when there's such a high demand for emergency services, right? It can be dangerous too because people get frustrated and they try to fix things on their own, and they're not. That's they're not professionals, right? And that's it's so sad. We're still in the middle of a fire shift. Aaron lipstick. We're still catching up right now. As of 6:30 p.m. this evening, 31,000 Wisconsinites remain without power, according to the reports. And it says here they also show footage of vehicles trapped in the floodwaters at the fair. So I guess they were having some type of. There's a lot of state fairs happening now in August, right? So why couldn't they cancel that? Was this like a last minute forecast that they're like, oh, in 30 minutes we're gonna have high winds and like flooding waters? Like, why was that not even canceled? It's called the Wisconsin State Fair, and Somebody said we're sad and we cannot deliver this the final day of the Wisconsin State Fair, but we know that this is the best decision with current conditions. So they did cancel probably last minute. In another update, the fair organizers said those who have purchased tickets for Sunday can exchange them for the next year event. So they had canceled the event for today because of everything that they saw in the forecast, obviously, and what happened yesterday. So even so it was canceled, people were still getting stuck, right? Wow, I'm looking at some of the photograph. Wow, the water rising so fast. That's the thing, like I feel like this has been happening more often than ever lately. Like even the videos that come from New York, when you see the subway system, like as much as I go, I've been going, been going to New York and all of that. I never seen the water like in the subway platforms and people trying to like maneuver and walk through that. That's crazy, you guys. But we gotta keep praying for this. I think things like this are gonna be more frequent as the day becomes closer of the second coming of the Lord, you guys. It's gonna be an ongoing, unprecedented thing that is gonna happen. Let's see what people are saying at the comment. At the comment, some people are saying this is biblical, like I just said. Uh, Somebody says that this is why we have to pay attention. This says here, I don't know about the UK, but we here in the US, torrential rain isn't unusual in the summer. Just like blizzards are unusual in the winter, right? Obviously, I understand that we get a lot of rain from time to time, but the flooding part of it and how quickly it can become such a hazard, right? Um, Somebody said she grew up in Milwaukee, and that's a lot more rain than she can remember. So I'm just trying to read. People are just saying a lot of crazy stuff in the comments, right? So we continue to pray for everybody affected by this. You guys, maybe if you're from the area watching this or listening to this, please leave a comment, see what and tell us what you have experienced or your family members. Somebody said, okay, this. I live in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, excuse me, and needed to go to the store last night. Checked the weather before I left. Because I don't like driving in bad weather and it just said light rain. Okay, and he says 20 minutes later I could barely see on the road. It came out of nowhere. I didn't get an emergency alert until 1:07 a.m. So that's the thing that I'm telling you. I feel like it's gonna be like what just happened, right? Like in the summer sometimes it rains and you're like it was just beautiful, and now it's like cloudy and it went from like that, right, in an instant, right? And that happens. That's not unusual, right? But the flooding part of it, and you're like, okay, like I had no idea it was gonna rain. I had no idea it was gonna be so much rain like this, right? That's it. Like that's what I feel like is gonna happen even more often. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. We continue to pray to everybody affected by this. As of this evening, they were still under alert. So let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening to the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless. everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.